Yo, fight fans, we got episode 9 for you, Glove Talk. Devon here. I'm here with my boy Jose after UFC 287.
What is up? Let's
Chilling.
get it.
I'm back here enjoying this nice Florida weather. How you been?
It's hot, then it's cold, then it's hot, then it's cold again. It's Michigan. What can I say, man? But proud to be repping Miami. Proud that there was, UFC was back in Miami. Great card, man. Can't wait to get into it.
And then also think I'm gonna start doing for every big pay-per-view fight, for every big fight card, I'm gonna do a custom piece of memorabilia. So this is the Miami 305 one. This one I'm gonna give to my boy Jose, but we're gonna start giving them to people who follow the YouTube. So send a screenshot of you following on YouTube and send it to us on Instagram, and you can enter into the prize for next week. I also got this Adesanya Death Note themed, with this walkout with Jared Cannonier, and all the names of the people he took out, and then that little weird little Goku thing he be doing. So let's get into it. UFC 287. Shocker, bro, but we're going to get to that. First, we're going to start with Jacqueline Amaram versus Sam Hughes. Amaram, jiu-jitsu practitioner. She was trying to be on her guard too much. I think that's what lost her this fight. She was too comfortable being on the bottom and being in Sam Hughes being in her guard. I feel like she needed to try to get up. And it might not look like she got damaged a lot, but just the visual for the judges just makes it look like you're losing when somebody's on top of you.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think when she tried to get the rear naked chokes and she kept not being able to finish them, and they were deep, and Sam Hughes was doing a good job fighting the hands. I think that frustrated Amarim, where then she started throwing some of the sloppiest takedown attempts I've seen in a minute. Like, she ended up just like squatting instead of like actually shooting for takedowns. And then when she was in guard, Joe Rogan called it out, and I hate when people do this. She kept going into like this like a body lock full guard, where she kept like doing the body triangle from bottom, which doesn't let you do anything. I don't know
I
why
think she was watching Chase Hooper film or something.
Right. No, yeah. And so it kind of this fight reminds me of kind of like the Raul Rosas fight that we'll get to later in the card. Like, she couldn't get the finish, so her cardio went, her arms got burnt out, and Sam Hughes did what she had to do to win the fight. I think for her, like, the talent's there. She's got to go back to the drawing board and be like, hey, if one thing doesn't work, I can't spend all my energy on it, because what happens is when you get to the UFC, if you can't finish a sub, people can stand up, people can stuff your takedowns, and you got to conserve your cardio. You only got 15 minutes in there to show the world why you deserve to be in there. And other than the first 5 minutes, the first round, she looked horrible the rest of the fight. So.
And Sam Hughes was saying after the fight that her boyfriend put $1,000 on her because she was like minus like 300 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, she probably might have not said that. I think that's illegal. I don't think you're allowed to say that.
No, yeah, they banned it
though.
where even family members and friends can't put bets in for you or whatever. So
yeah, so she might want to try to clear that up a little bit. But I think they'll let her pass because she's not a big name. So
yeah.
And then we got Shylon versus Steve Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
Shylon knocking him down, early, but Garcia, coming back in the second round, ended up getting the finish. Great comeback. I think Shylon just burnt out. I think he's a big muscular guy for featherweight too. That's crazy. He looks more like a lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
So all that muscle, you burn energy pretty fast throwing all power shots like that. So
yeah, I think Shylon Nordembicki, he has a ton of muscle on him, dude. He's huge. Like,
his back is crazy.
And Steve Garcia, what won him that fight was his shots to the body, which is how you have to fight a guy that's bigger than you, is you have to attack the body. And Steve Garcia was just resilient. Like, he got knocked down, and Shylon was landing shots, but Steve Garcia stayed composed, did what he had to do, and then landed some beautiful shots to end the fight. You could tell that Shylon was just he was fading. He was burnt out. His cardio was kind of letting him down a bit.
All that muscle, man. All that muscle.
And he's being very aggressive to start the fight. So good win for Steve Garcia, man. Yeah, honestly, that liver shot knockouts are some of my favorites. You kind of see the body just shut down a bit.
Yeah, that's why I'm such a fan of Chris Curtis, because he just goes to the body so much. I think that's underrated in the UFC right now, especially body kicks. And then we had our boy Ignacio Bahamondes, a guy that we think goated.
Mm-hmm.
at catchweight versus Trey Ogden. I think this is one of the best striking performances I've seen like this year. It's like I'll put this up there with Corey Sandhagen versus Cheeto. Like his striking was, you know,
Mm-hmm.
defense, his offense, everything on
And
point.
we see right here the first fight that got scored kind of weird by the judges. So they gave a 29-28 what the judges did in this fight. If we're being brutally honest, it was 30-27. Trey Ogden had some moments, but Bahamondes absolutely dominated this
Yeah, he
fight.
had one. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't try to do no wrestling. Trey Ogden had like one fake takedown attempt.
Mm-hmm. And
Looked
then
like he was trying to strike with him. I don't know.
For Trey Ogden, it was kind of just like one shot, and then that's it. It just he wasn't making combinations out of it, and it's tough because Ignacio Bahamondes is a very long guy for his size, very technical striker. The guy was a Chilean kickboxing champion at 14 years old. Like Bahamondes is insanely good at 25 years old, man. He looks like he's getting better every single fight.
I think,
Very,
and I think Trey Ogden like came to the fight watching film. He probably thought that Ignacio was going to come in. I mean, he did throw spinning back kicks, but he probably thought he was going to throw a bunch of big, like crazy spinning shots. So he's probably going to wait to shoot. But Ignacio didn't really pull that out until like the third round when he already had
mhm.
him, beat up. So
And he wasn't headhunting. I was very impressed that that Nacho wasn't trying to knock him out the whole time because you have to fight smart like that. He fought very smart. He went to the body, he went to the legs. He landed 41 leg kicks, which is insane. He mixed it up. Like you look at his striking differentials: 28 to the head, 30 to the body, 41 to the legs. That's the kind of variety you want to see in a fighter. And he landed 99 out of 200 shots. That's almost a 50% like strike efficiency. Like just absolutely terrific performance for Nacho Bahamondes.
and then
I've
him
always
fighting at catchweight also
yeah.
like this makes me believe because he fights at lightweight. He could fight at lightweight, and I feel like he could fight at welterweight too. Like
Yeah, he's huge. He could definitely do that, 100%. Training with Bilal Muhammad as well. Definitely is going to have some good takedown defense in there as well. I think Bahamondes is like he's not going too quick. He's not going too slow. I think career wise, he's definitely going at the right pace for him to get to where he wants to be. And I think this guy, given some more time, definitely can make some noise at lightweight, 100%.
definitely
Um,
could be, and he knows good English too. So.
yeah, man. Yeah.
And then the next fight we got Cynthia Calvillo versus Lupe Gutierrez. How do you say her last name?
Godinez.
Godinez. This is probably the closest fight on the card to me.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the closest card, or the closest fight. Uh, they gave the fight to Lupe, but I don't know. I feel like to me, I thought Cynthia probably edged it out in my book.
Yeah. I think the problem with Cynthia is she point fighted too much.
Yeah, too much point. But you gotta take into effect all them side body kicks. Like those
Yeah.
don't feel good, bro. And she hit
Yeah.
odd though.
Shout out to whoever scored this 30-27 for Lupe. Yeah, bro. I thought so they brought in most of the judges that the UFC uses in Nevada, and I can tell because 30-27 for Lupe is wild. Drug test worthy. Keep drug testing the judges, man. We
Shout
need,
out to
we
the
need to push
judges.
that. Because oh my gosh. I mean, listen, Lupe had her moments. She was damaging her, but Lupe was also getting very gassed out at the end of the fight. And I think Calvillo, being the veteran, was fighting smarter. But I think the problem is some judges, some states value damage more than than point fighting. That's just how some cards work out. And I think this is one of those cards where the judges definitely favored more damage than point fighting. Because Lupe was cracking her sometimes, but Cynthia Calvillo was just landing the more accurate shots. I don't know. I think for me, I'm not mad it went to Lupe, but at the same time, like I don't know. I don't know. It was close. It was close. It could have gone either way.
So you could tell the judges in this at this on this card they favored damage over everything. So um, that's how it went. Then we got Gerald Mershard. then we got Gerald Mershard versus Joe Pyfer. If you want to be in the UFC, beat Joe Pyfer.
Mm-hmm.
Joe
Mm-hmm.
Pyfer get catching him with that left hook, putting him to sleep.
No, 100%. I think Joe Pyfer, man, got bombs in his hands. He has otherworldly power. I think one thing that you and me did notice though is, and we talked about this, was I definitely want to see more out of his kicks. That's something I definitely want to see more of him develop.
Because he
And
would have
but
some crazy power kicks for real. Like he's
yeah, Yeah, and he was fighting a grappler, Gerald Mearshark, and he trains with Sean Brady, Daniel Gracie guy, and
Down defense is going to be A1.
so yeah, so his ground defense is going to be very good there. Sean Brady's a terrific black belt. But no, Joe Pyfer put on a show, man, on a pay per view. That's what you got to do. Um, Joe Pyfer, man, the hype keeps growing and growing. I think middleweight with what happened at the end of this card tonight, I think definitely guys like Joe Pyfer coming up through middleweight is it,
Bo Nickel. I want to see that Joe Piper versus Bo Nickel for.
it's going to keep the division interesting. It's going to keep developing these guys that the division needs. Joe Pyfer is definitely on a fast track to stardom, though, at middleweight. And he's still young. He's like, what, 26? So,
And they didn't give him the bonus, and he said that he's like hurting financially, so it's crazy. I think they
mhm.
gave him a bonus. So, but they,
Yeah.
so they already gave the bonus to Adesanya and Font. So, and they
Mhm.
deserve it too. So I guess this is how it goes.
Yeah.
And
No.
Michelle Waterson Gomez versus Luliana Pinheiro.
Yeah.
Uh, Pinheiro getting the win. This was also another fight that could have went either way. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Pinheiro, she was just more aggressive. I feel like she was more powerful,
Yep.
but Waterson Gomez, she mixed it up more. She also brought in. It kind of reminded me of the Cynthia Calvillo fight. She brought more kicks and more
Right.
like MMA, mixture. Luana just brought more power in boxing. So
For Karate Hottie, Michelle Watson Gomez, she's a Jackson Wink fighter. Trained with Holly Holm, trained with all those fighters, and great karate style her whole career. I think the knock on Michelle Watson Gomez her whole career though is not enough power. I think that showed tonight, last night. I mean, where Luana Pinheiro wasn't landing as many strikes, but she was landing the harder strikes. She was picking her moments better. I think that's what won her the fight at the end because even though Michelle Watterson was landing kick after kick, she wasn't really getting through with some of the kicks. Some of them would get through, but not all of them. Whereas like Luana Pinheiro, when she hit her, you knew that she hit her. Michelle Watterson would almost back up. She would reset, and so it's just one of those things where again, damage over point fighting. I can see people scoring this both ways. So I'm not mad. It went one way or the other. I think Michelle Watterson Gomez's stock doesn't go down after this fight, but I think she's getting to the point now where I think her title contention window. I don't think that window is going to open back up, though in this strawweight. But for Luana Pinheiro, I mean, it's a good win over a recognizable name in the UFC as well. So yeah, it's a good win for her.
then we had a fight of the night. We had my guy Chris Curtis versus Kevin Gastelum.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. Kevin Gastelum just looked really good. I think also Henry Cejudo made his point in his YouTube video that I think is if he goes down to welterweight, he would actually be like a contender. I feel like.
Yeah, yeah, no, 100%. I agree. Again, the 30-27 score on this fight is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what they were watching. Scored 30-27. That's not a knock on Gastelum. It's just it was a very close fight. For Kelvin Gastelum is a guy who has had some weight struggles. Even at 185, he had some weight struggles. He's had injuries. I think that's the thing why he can't go down to 170, even though a lot of us want him to, because at 170 he would dominate. You could tell with Calvin Gastelum last night, light on his feet, confident in his strikes. Reminded me of him versus Adesanya, honestly. And I honestly, this fight could have been a 5-round headliner on a fight night. It was so good. I
I
think.
still think Chris Curtis should go to welterweight too, low key.
Yep. Honestly, yeah. Both those guys, they would be absolute monsters at welterweight. But it's such a huge cut because for like Kelvin Gastelum doesn't look muscular, but he has a lot of muscle on him. And Chris Curtis, his
Jacked.
body fat percentage has to be under 10. Like his back is ridiculous. Those body shots that he was landing, like they hurt. He's just like doing like this uppercut hook, like just digging into his body. Like it was very nasty striking from both these guys. I wish it would have been 5 rounds, but I'm happy with getting 3. I think for Chris Curtis, his stock does not go down after this fight at all.
Even though he came off a loss with Jack Hermanson too, but
Yeah, and in the Jack Hermanson fight, I think people gave him the benefit of the doubt because Jack Hermanson was running most of the fight.
he's point fighting.
He's point fighting. Whereas like Kelvin Gastelum and Chris Curtis gave us a fight, and as fans, like That's all you can ask for. Is these guys stood in there, they put their head down, they bit the mouth guard, and they start going at it. And I love that. I think we need for these two guys, ranked guys trying to move up, trying to fight. One of them for his job. Kelvin Gastelum felt like he was going to get cut if he lost his fight. This is what you need to see. You know, none of this point fighting BS a lot of people do, and I love it. I think for both these guys, Chris Curtis still deserves to keep his ranking, even if it's going one down and switching with Kelvin. I think for both these guys, man, middleweight needs this. Like now with Derek Brunson gone, like for these guys to kind of be like the measuring stick for people that want to break into the rankings, it's perfect. I love it, and I think Kelvin Gastelum. Listen, man, if he pulls off another fight or two, he can make another run for top five. Who knows?
Yeah, but I think he needs to go to welterweight. I don't know. He's just too small for those other guys. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he'll pull a Glover Teixeira.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go to the main pay per view main card. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. Raul coming in strong. The first round, thinking he was gonna get the finish, got tired, and then Christian was just. It looked like Christian didn't even want to finish him. It looked like he could have finished him, but he was fighting a kid, so he was like, let me just teach him a lesson. He was like he had him. He had his back in a body lock, and he was just sitting there punching him in the body, and he could have probably went for a couple of rear naked chokes, but he was just it seemed like he was trying to school him.
To quote a tweet from Sean Strickland last night, he's like, "This kid is getting the Sage Northcutt treatment. This is why you don't sign kids to fight men." And I think it showed yesterday where Raul Rosas Jr. Again, this fight has Amarim syndrome written all over it. The first fight in the card, same thing here. Rosas almost had the finish. He almost had the rear naked choke a couple times. And Christian Rodriguez, who trains at Rufus Sport, who trains with like Anthony Pettis, Tyron Woodley, guys like that at Rufus Sport, he knew what to do. He stayed calm. He stayed composed, and it showed that first off, Rosas Jr. striking, it's not there. He needs to develop that, which is why he was relying so much on going for takedowns and going for submissions. His cardio, it could be there, but it doesn't matter if he's not managing it. He was burning himself out trying to go for submission or takedown every single second that he had an opportunity to. And I think the third thing is for Raul Rosas Jr., he just mentally, he needs to be stronger, in my opinion. Because I think if you're not going to get the finish, you have to be willing to adapt if you're going to fight the best of the best in mixed martial arts. Because for Christian Rodriguez, you're in the UFC. This is the top level. Christian Rodriguez is not no scrub. He's 9-1 for a reason now. And this guy just stayed composed. And like you said, it was almost like after the first round, he could have finished him, but he didn't. He just sat there just beating him, faking submissions, just doing whatever he wanted because Raul Rosas Jr. at that point was just defeated mentally. Yeah, I think for Rosas Jr., I think the UFC can learn a lesson here where why was this kid on the main card over Chris Curtis and Kelvin Gastelum, who are ranked? It's like, are we going to ruin another young guy like a Sage Northcutt or like a Chase Hooper? Are we going to keep pushing these people, these fighters way too quick? I
I
think
don't
this
know
kid,
why, and he's also wrestling heavy.
yeah.
He doesn't have a right hand. That's not a good combo.
Mm-hmm. And
He
I think,
develops a right hand in wrestling heavy. You got to fight like Marab, bro.
yep. And I think for Raul Rosas Jr., he's young. He can still develop and learn from this. I'm not saying he won't be back, but I think the UFC kind of set him up to fail. And I think he set himself up to fail by talking about that he could beat Aljamain, that he was going to clean up the bantamweight division. Yeah, listen, as Rob Font and Adrian Yanez showed later in the card, there's levels to this game, brother, especially at bantamweight. So,
Especially once you hit that top five, or top five, top eight.
bro, honestly, the whole top 15 at bantamweight could
Oh
go.
yeah, bantamweight. Yeah,
Bantamweight could go toe to toe with each other, bro, and that's the thing. He's talking about cleaning out bantamweight and fighting Aljamain. I think he overlooked his opponent in Christian Rodriguez. So, hopefully he learns his lesson. Hopefully he comes back better from it. But the hype train, I'm happy it stopped. It shouldn't have even been a thing to begin with. He's 18, man. Let him develop. Let him grow. Stop pushing him like he's gonna be the next John Jones. Because the reason John Jones was the youngest ever champ was because he let his fighting do the talking more than anything. Just saying.
Then we got Kevin Holland getting another round 3 finish against Santiago Ponzinibbio. Ponzinibbio, he was contesting the stoppage, but he was done. Like he planted head first into the ground. Like you were done, bro. Kevin Holland would have finished you. And then it's funny how Kevin Holland, like in the start of the third round, he's turning around talking to Trump, talking to Dana White, talking to Mike Tyson. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
entertaining, bro. I like Kevin Holland. I know you might not like him, but
No, no,
I like
he's grown on me. He's grown on me for sure.
Savage. He's really the BMF. I think he's the guy in the UFC that I would want on my side, like in the streets for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. I love Kevin Holland because in this, like, I think for him, it doesn't matter if he's so talented. It's just it's been hard for him to kind of piece it together in a sense of like, what does it look like running for it, like running a couple fights into title contention, which he's never been able to put that together. But he's super talented. He's a black belt in karate. He is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Travis Lutter, which is no joke. He's competed in like Eddie Bravo tournaments and all that stuff. Like Kevin Holland is a true martial artist. It's just a sense of he wants to, like I remember when he took those 5 fights in 2020 and like or 2021 either or regardless. The thing is Kevin Holland like he wants to fight. I think for a while Kevin Holland's talent was going quicker than Kevin Holland's like brain and body were. If that makes sense. Like Kevin Holland now he's kind of just taking his time, not fighting fight after fight after fight, like preparing for his opponents. And I think he had an answer for everything Ponzinibbio through this fight. That knockdown on that back fist was absolutely beautiful as well.
Yeah, so much power, bro. I mean, he knocked out Jacare Souza on his knee. So I mean,
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think for like Ponzinibbio contesting that stoppage, like, nah, you were out.
yeah,
You,
you were.
and I think for Kevin Holland, man, like this win does wonders for him. It was a great knockout. Um, with Jorge retiring, I don't think it hurts his prospects of him fighting, top guys at welterweight. And I think this is not the same Kevin Holland that lost to Wonder Boy either. So I don't think people can really hold that against him either.
I hate when people bring up that fight though. Like he almost finished Wonder Boy. He broke his hand on his forehead, bro. I mean, he
yeah,
broke his hand in the beginning of the fight when he almost finished him. Like,
yeah, and then they had a gentleman's agreement to not go to the ground, which I'm not a huge fan of. But at the end of the day, it's like I don't think that's the real Kevin Holland. And like I think Kevin Holland could be a champion one day if he puts it all together. That's how talented of a martial artist he is. It's just can he string all these fights together and do it every single fight, So we'll see.
then we had a performance of the night going to Rob Font after he knocked out Adrian Yanez. This is the only fight I got wrong. This is the only fight I picked wrong on the whole card, literally. I had Adrian Yanez knocking him out, but
I did too.
shows is just levels. He wasn't ready to give up that top 6 ranking. Giannis didn't look bad though. I mean, he looked like he was catching them, but it just looked like he was trying to instead of like defending the shots, he was trying to just keep throwing back in the fire. So sometimes you gotta play some defense and then you get to throw. You can't keep trying to throw. Somebody else is throwing the whole time.
And I think he'll come back better from this. I think he'll learn to not stay in the pocket so much, especially against Rob Font, where to see what Rob Font did to Yanez kind of makes you wonder how strong is Cheeto Vera's chin. Like, bro, that shot. There's a couple shots, but especially that last one, that right hook. Giannis just so left his body. Like, even though he was still awake, like, bro was like fighting demons.
But I also think Rob Font looked better because on the Cheeto fight, it looked like every time he throw, he was kind of like hesitant to not get hit back. In this fight, it looked like he was ready just to scrap. So
Oh yeah, and like you looked at his face, he had like his whole eye swollen and everything. But like I think it kind of showed where he knows he's durable. Rob Font has a chin from hell, but now he knows that hey, I can stay in the pocket and throw these shots. He's built that resilience. And I think for Adrian Yanez, I think he was the one guy that I could see knocking out Rob Font. So for Rob Font to handle it the way he did, it's very impressive. And again, number 6 versus number 12. Giannis does not get to move up now, but Rob Font getting a big win over Giannis on a pay-per-view. Bantamweight's looking messy right now, bro, and I love every second of it.
and they got a bunch of guys not trying to fight each other too. They're all
Yeah.
trying to get the title shot. So I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see how that works out.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Gilbert Burns with the predictable destruction of Jorge Masvidal. I mean, as soon as I heard this fight, I already knew that Gilbert Burns was going to win. But I did have like a feeling. I don't know why. I just had a weird feeling that something was going to happen. But
Mm-hmm.
it didn't happen in this fight, but it happened in the main fight. So,
This
but
is why you can't look at the stats post fight. So Jorge had more total strikes, 3 less significant strikes, and a bunch more leg kicks. But what it doesn't tell you is you saw this in the third round when Gilbert absolutely rocked Jorge twice. Like I thought he was gonna knock him out. To
shaky
be honest.
legs. He was
Yeah.
catching with that same right hand that Usman was throwing.
Yep. And I think for Gilbert, man, dude, those takedowns, especially that one, that high crotch he got him with when he flipped him over. Beautiful fight for Gilbert Burns. And I thought Gilbert was going to get a finish on the ground, but then Gilbert after the fight says that he thinks Jorge was greasing, using lotion after the weight cut. Also, the judges scored this 29-28, man.
You
I
saw
don't.
to the judges.
Yeah, you saw the judges, bro. I'm sorry. I love Jorge to death. I'm, you know, the Miami. You see it. I love Jorge. I'm Cuban American. I love Jorge. But brother, you did not win a round, bro. He just did not. Jorge retired after this fight. Always will be a legend in 305. Started fighting in the backyards. The true American dream. I'm glad he got his money, man. I'm glad he retired in front of the home crowd, and I'm glad that he gave his flowers to Gilbert Burns after the fight. Told Gilbert Burns to go get a belt. I think for Gilbert Burns, he's doing all the right things to angle himself for one final title run in his career. And I think, in terms of people in line for Leon, it's definitely Colby, Bilal, and Gilbert.
But I mean, Gilbert said at the post fight press conference that the Kobe Leon fight's already basically done.
Yeah.
He demanded to be. He said, "I want to demand to be the backup," and then Dana heard that. Dana said, "Okay, we'll make it done." So,
Yeah.
so Gilbert being the backup automatically means he's next in line for the next one. So,
Now, what's crazy about that? The reason Dana agreed to that is because Bilal, who was at the fight, uh,
fighting Shavkat, he's gonna get crucified by Shavkat.
no. I want that, but that's not what happened. Was Bilal came with a Colby shirt of Colby with the broken jaw. He was cornering Bahamondes. They let him have a press conference time after the fight or during that. This was before Gilbert got his press conference time. And Bilal said that the path to the title was him fighting Usman. So he wants an Usman fight. So Gilbert Burns, after the fight, knowing that, asked to be the backup. Because Bilal didn't ask to be the backup. So I think for Bilal Muhammad, I'm punching the air right now. Like Gilbert Burns just called his bluff, and now basically kind of moves a little bit ahead of Bilal in terms of like being ready to fight for the title. Whereas Bilal has been complaining that he deserved the title shot over Colby, which he has a case for. Don't get me wrong.
Last one is Sean Brady, bro. I
Yeah,
mean, Gilbert Burns fought Hamzat.
yeah, yep.
He almost beat Hamzat.
Fought
Uh,
Wonder Boy. He
fought
fought.
Wonder Boy.
He
Fought
beat.
Neil Magny.
He beat Tyron Woodley right after the Usman fight. Like he beat Neil. He obliterated Neil Magny. The Usman fight was close for a bit before he lost to Usman as well.
He
Like
destroyed Jorge.
he's like, and the thing is for Bilal, like you can say he
Sean
has a
Brady.
case or not to be contender, right? Gilbert Burns is the one saying, "Hey, make me the backup. I don't care if you give me the fight now. Make me the backup. Put me in the mixture." Whereas like Bilal's posting memes and complaining about Colby and this that whatever. All right, bro, but you got to show me something because then you're talking about fighting Usman as well. While this guy Gilbert is beating Jorge Masvidal and talking about being the backup for the very next was it the third pay per view from now to fight
It's
Lee.
in London too, so he's gonna
Exactly,
fly out to London, make weight.
exactly. And I think for Bilal, I think this shows why Dana was hesitant to give him a title shot because it's like one, the resume is kind of
I mean,
and
we seen him in the beginning of that Leon fight before the eye poke. He was getting destroyed, bro.
right, exactly. And
That's
second.
old Leon. That's not champ Leon.
And second, Gilbert took a fight against Jorge Masvidal in Jorge's hometown. Um, ev- everybody had everything against Gilbert in that arena, and he put on a show. He did what he had to do. He was dominant. And I think for Bilal, the knock on him is other than the Sean Brady fight, which Sean Brady had a good first round in that fight before he lost. When has Bilal Muhammad been actually dominant other than point fighting in the UFC?
Sean Brady fight. That's it.
Meanwhile, Gilbert Burns destroyed a former champion Tyron Woodley right after he lost his belt. He dominated Wonder Boy Thompson for 3 rounds, like to had control of that fight. He gave Hamzat Chimaev, who probably had like 20 pounds on him on fight night. He gave him one of the best fights we saw that year. He destroyed Jorge Masvidal, who fought for a title twice. Sorry, it's not looking good for Bilal, man, and I love it. I want to see Gilbert fight either Leon or Colby. I would absolutely love either of those fights.
I would
So
rather see the Kobe one probably.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I think the grappling in that fight would be insane, having those two go against each other.
And then we have the main spectacle of the night: Alex Pereira in the rematch versus Israel Adesanya. Adesanya playing a little possum and catching him with the mean right hand, left hand, right hand, and then the hammer fist, putting him to sleep, bro. Like when that happened, bro, I literally got up and I was screaming, bro. Like me, my stepdad, and my brother, we were screaming, bro. Like I lost my voice only off of that fight. Like I literally lost my voice for the night off of just screaming for that.
You
I
saw
got.
my
I
text.
thought he was about to get knocked out. I literally was like, "Oh yeah, Izzy's about to
Yeah.
get knocked out
Yep.
here." I was like, "Get off the cage, get off the cage!" And all of a sudden, boom, he's knocked out.
You know,
He put him to sleep too. Like his leg was shaking. Like
and I think what you just said though is kind of the unpopular opinion that people don't want to look at of this fight. Where okay, Israel got the knockout. It was beautiful. Alex was out cold. Great post fight interview. Great, spectacle after the fight, acting like he was dead in front of Alex's kid and
playback.
doing the bow and arrow. But the reality is though,
He was
Alex
losing the fight.
Pereira was winning this fight before that happened. Those leg kicks, Izzy kept switching stance. Like his calves cannot take that. That's why he was on the cage. He couldn't move anymore. And like he was playing possum instead of like actually being in the pocket when that happened. I think that's what won him the fight because last fight when he did get up against the cage, that's when Pereira was
He
hitting
was just
him.
trying to survive and dodge and move out the way. I feel like
Yeah,
this time he was like, I gotta throw something to make him respect me. So
right. No, for sure. And I think for Alex Pereira, I don't think his stock goes down after this fight. And I think, Jamal Hill was talking about if Pereira goes up to 205, that he would destroy Pereira, which, as much as I love Jamal, I think it'd be a lot closer than Jamal thinks. But I think that's the move. He's going to 205.
I
Dana
think
was
that's a
talking
better
about it.
fight than this fight. I honestly think Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill would be more of a scrappy fight because I feel like Jamal is not
Yes. Yep.
like Alex. Like Adesanya is avoiding all the shots. I feel like Jamal is willing to scrap with him. So
Yeah, no, 100%. And like Jamal would throw body kicks. Jamal would have a complete game. And I
he's got
think
to
for
fight Yuri first though.
exactly, he's got to fight Yuri first. I think for Alex Pereira, um, have him fight Jan Blachowicz.
I want that Chimaev fight. No, I want him to go fight Chimaev, bro.
Yeah, but so Dana said don't quote him on this in terms of Pereira going up to 205 because it's not official. And they were talking about not doing a trilogy immediately. But another unfortunate fact is, all right, if you're not going to do a trilogy immediately, who the hell gets the next title shot against Izzy at 185?
I think. I think. I don't know. I mean, I know Robert Whitaker is punching the air right
Yeah,
now.
100%. Because if Izzy loses this fight, he's automatically next against Pereira.
Yeah. Now he's probably gotta. I don't know. He might have to. He might get the fight though. I don't know. They might give him the third fight.
Well, then Jan Blachowicz tweeted this morning that he wants to rematch Izzy at 185.
I don't know how he thinks he can make
I
185.
don't. I listen, Jan Blachowicz. I love him. I don't know how he makes 185 of
And I
that.
don't think his stock's not even there to do that. He's got a
No,
rematch. You got to get that Ankalaev rematch, bro.
exactly. So there's a whole mess of who's
Kind
gonna
of
fight
mess though,
who.
because I feel like it's just a lot of choices, which is good. Like all these fights are banger fights. Pereira versus Chimaev,
Yep.
Pereira versus Yuri, Pereira versus Jamal Hill, Izzy versus Whitaker.
Pereira versus Anthony Smith.
Costa versus Chimaev.
I'm gonna act like I didn't say that one, but Pereira
You
versus
say
Pereira versus Anthony Smith.
chill. Don't don't
Uh,
don't don't try to kill Anthony Smith, bro.
no, but the thing is, that's what I'm saying. There's a whole mess of who is Pereira fight next, who is he fight next? Because all right, outside of Robert Whitaker, it is right
Oh, he
now.
did call out. Wait. He did call out Duplessis, bro, in the post
Yes,
fight
but
chat.
But he did also say Duplessis has to win a couple more and show him
I mean, well, he's probably got to win one more.
one more. And yeah, and I think that one more above Duplessis and right below him, you got Sean Strickland, Duplessis, Paulo Costa, Cannonier, Vittori, Robert Whitaker. Right. I'm
All right.
gonna take I'm gonna take Robert Whitaker out of there right now because Robert Whitaker just can't get a third fight with Izzy right now, especially after he lost the last one. I'm gonna take Cannonier out of there because there's no way in hell Cannonier gets another Izzy fight anytime soon. You're looking at Hamzat Chimaev, Vittori, Paulo Costa, Duplessis, Sean Strickland at
All right.
middleweight.
Do the Duplessis versus Sean Strickland, and whoever
Mm-hmm.
wins, they'll get a title shot. And then I don't know. I think you can do that, Robert Whitaker, because Robert Whitaker, that second fight was pretty close. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's tough. It's gonna be tough to swing it. I don't think Izzy's gonna want it either. Um,
there's no other fight. There's literally no other fight to do at middleweight.
Well, and the thing is, you can't give one to Hamza because Hamza has to fight Paulo Costa first. You can't do Marvin Vittori because even though he's number 3, he
He
lost.
lost the last fight, bro.
He
Fuck that.
lost to Roman Dolidze. We're being honest. He lost to Roman Dolidze, and he got dominated by Izzy when they fought. So I don't know, man. I think Alex Pereira losing, as exciting as it was to see him getting knocked out, I think everybody in the middleweight division that was in the top 5 just punch in the air right now because they
I
all
really
had a
think the
shot to fight.
trilogy is the best option.
Yeah, yeah.
Looking at this right now, like no other fights make sense besides the trilogy.
It's just tough to make a trilogy against a guy that you've lost twice to. I want listen.
Not because he was winning the fight, he just got caught. He was winning all those fights. Every single time they fought, Izzy's winning most of the minutes.
Yeah.
He's just getting caught. That's the thing that's why people wanted to see this fight because they knew that Izzy was better than him. Prayer just has that godly power. So like,
Oh, I thought you said Whitaker. My fault. No, yeah, I want a trilogy. I want a
yeah,
trilogy. I called for
Prayer.
a trilogy as soon as the fight ended.
Yeah,
You have to make one. Like he got a TK over Izzy in MMA. Izzy
KO.
knocked him out, and I think as a champ, why doesn't Pereira deserve a rematch against a guy that he already beat? You know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I
I don't know
think
why
the only
Dana
fight
was
that makes
hesitant
sense.
to make this. Like, I don't understand.
I
But
think if Alex Pereira, I think it's because he thinks he's going to 205. So if Alex Pereira I feel like if he comes out and demands a fight and be like we're 1-1 and talk shit, I think he can get a fight. So, and then
yeah.
we're gonna go to UFC Fight Night next weekend. Uh, we got Arnold Allen versus Max Holloway. So,
Mm-hmm.
what fights stick out to you in here? For me, the Matthias Nicolau versus Brandon Royval fight. That
Mm-hmm.
fight's gonna be a banger.
I think for me, Julian Robertson versus Pierre Rodriguez definitely won. Nicolau and Royval. I like both these guys a lot.
That's a big fight of the
Algio,
night.
Bill Algio is always a fun watch. Not really looking for Clay Guida fight.
Oh, Chris Gutierrez is about to put
Chris,
Pedro Munez in retirement.
yep. Pedro Munoz is fighting. I think Pedro Munoz is probably gonna retire after this fight. If I'm being honest. Bozer and Kudalaba. I'm not.
That's gonna be a banger though. It's not like good technical fight, but those guys come and scrap.
Jacoby and Mirzakhanov has some good potential. Oh, Billy Q versus Edson Barbosa. That's a good fight. Billy Quarantillo versus Edson Barbosa.
Trying to break into the top 15, bro. I like Billy Q. He's cold.
Yeah, and I like Barbosa too, but I think now he's a little past his prime. And I think the Max Holloway Arnold Allen fight. I think this right here is the toughest test for Max Holloway since the Volkanovski fights. Like Arnold Allen is diffy. He's different, man. He's nasty, and I think for him, uh, one thing about Max Holloway, he's one of the great. He's in my opinion the third greatest featherweight of all time. Terrific striker, one of the greatest strikers of all time. But you saw in the Dustin Poirier fight two things. One, he doesn't do good against southpaws, and two, he doesn't do good against guys that load up their shots. I don't think he's fought guys that load up their shots except for Dustin Poirier. Arnold Allen, when he throws, he's putting you to sleep. That's his intention every time. So it's gonna be a good fight. I'm excited to see how this fight turns out. I'm happy Arnold Allen's finally getting some recognition for once.
Yeah, this is gonna be Max's Holloway test to see, are you still like one of the top dogs, or are you going to start to fade, or do we need to start pushing you to do big money fights instead of contention fights? So
Mm.
I think Holloway. I don't know. It's gonna be a tough fight though, but I don't know. Arnold Allen is more well rounded though. That's the difference.
Yep. Yep.
He's got the power on his side, but Max Holloway, he's shown that he can like reinvent himself and come back. Look at the Calvin Kattar fight.
Yeah, but Arnold Allen has better kicks in my opinion as well too. But the thing with the Calvin Kattar fight is Calvin Kattar has Donald Cowboy Cerrone syndrome where he doesn't move his head. I think for Max Holloway that was just target practice in terms of just he was landing shots, but for him to not put Calvin Kattar away after landing that many, it's one of those things
I
where
mean, Arnold Allen didn't put Calvin Kattar away in the last fight night.
no, but because he got injured, that's why. But he was winning that fight, and he had some moments where he rocked him. I think though, I think for Max Holloway, it's like he can land this. If he wants to point fight his way to a win, he can. He showed it in the Yair Rodriguez fight. Um, but I think Arnold Allen, if he lands a couple good ones on Max, like it's gonna be like the Dustin Poirier fight, in my opinion. You know,
Yeah,
but
I think this gives me Yair versus Max vibes.
yeah,
Which Max was hurt and he was in trouble in that fight, so we'll see if he's gotten better since then or if he's gotten worse. And I would love to see Arnold Allen versus Volk or Yair, so that would be banger. That would be
yep.
a good fight. So
Which now transitioning to what you said, the Volk for Sair, some fights coming up. Just got announced was Volk and Yair for International Fight Week. They still don't know if it's headlining or not. I
no,
think that you
They got their own headlining card.
uh for fight International Fight Week. Well, they haven't
I don't think they've
announced.
got. I think it got pushed to a different date.
Maybe we'll see. I saw that it was on International Fight Week, and some of the rumors going around is they want to angle for Jamal and Yuri at International Fight Week as well, which means that if that fight happens, that won't headline either. They're probably gonna have John Jones and Stipe headline and just do
Yeah, they
three.
need to have Stipe, John Jones,
Yeah,
Yuri,
yep,
Jamal, and they need to have 3 title fights. I ain't gonna lie.
exactly. And I think that's the rumor going around is with Volk and Yair now fighting in International Fight Week, they're just gonna have 3 title fights on the card. Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena in Vancouver got announced for June 10th, UFC 289.
They don't really fit that market at all, but
Well, for Juliana Pena, it does. She's Seattle. She's
oh,
Seattle.
okay.
Yeah, she's huge in the Washington area, and I think for that area of the world, the biggest fighters coming out of there, Jens Pulver, Demetrius Johnson, Juliana Pena. So I think for her, it's definitely a hometown fight. Sterling and Cejudo coming up May 6th at Newark. Gegard Mousasi versus Leon Edwards' brother in Bellator. Bellator 296, May 12th coming up. Some fight nights. I will be in Florida with you. We'll be doing the Glow Talk podcast in
Live.
person together. April 22nd, Popovich versus Blades. And then you got Armin Sakaria versus Moicano coming up too. And then some other MMA news that it's gone around the world now. Lyoto Machida has left Bellator, but he says he wants one more MMA fight. Lyoto obviously a legend of the sport. I don't know if he gets it. He's 43 now, but yeah, no longer at Bellator. This is one that we need to talk about. Francis Ngannou has negotiated himself out of a deal with Bare Knuckle. Bare Knuckle said the price was ridiculous. Rumor has it that Francis Ngannou is looking for a $25 million fight in boxing, right? The UFC offered him 3 fights at $6 million each, not counting win money. So it could have gone from 18 to 36 million, right? And he turned that down. Bare Knuckle FC CEO came out and said that what Ngannou was asking for was unrealistic, and a lot of fighters have come out speaking facts. I think you and me are going to agree on. Ngannou's stock keeps going down the more and more he asks for money like this.
Yeah, I mean, he's not gonna get that type of money in bare knuckle, but maybe in like real boxing, you got to fight like I said, his best fight for him is the Deontay Wilder fight, bro.
Yeah, no, 100%. Is he going to get the 25 million though for it?
Yes.
They need to make that happen. Then it's tough though because now in heavyweight boxing, Like Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury fights off because the negotiating went to crap. So that opens it up for like Deontay and Anthony Joshua, and there's a whole mess there at heavyweight boxing right now. Andy Ruiz as well, and Ngannou just doesn't fit that right now. I don't think any of those guys are looking for an Ngannou fight. I think for him, he hasn't fought since January of last year as well. So it's like I think his stock just keeps going down and down. I think he should have taken that John Jones fight, win or lose. He should. That's a guaranteed $18 million right there.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. His stock is going down. I don't know how much like he's gonna have ring rust when he comes back. And these guys in heavyweight are actually getting better and better in the UFC. Like we got some guys coming up, they're gonna be tough to beat for him. Like even if he came back, he's gonna have to fight John Jones. He's gonna have to fight Tom Aspinall. He's gonna have to fight Curtis Blades. I don't think all those guys are like maybe Curtis
Pavlovich,
Blades might be easy for him, Popovich, but heavyweights
Yelton Almeida.
ultimatum. So
Yeah, and then Ngannou's 35 now, man. And Michael Bisping said on his YouTube channel yesterday, he's like, if you're not fighting, you're not making money. That's a true fact. And I think for Ngannou, like I think this investment that he's trying to make in himself, I think it's going to backfire, and it already is. You saw it after the John Jones fight; it already is. Um, Game Bread Boxing 4 happened. Anthony Pettis and Roy Jones Jr. Anthony Pettis wanted the card. The whole top six got paid six figures each. Jose Aldo fought Jeremy Stevens. There's some good fights on there. I mean, a lot of these guys, you can see they can definitely make a transition to boxing for sure.
yeah, and we got that Ryan Garcia versus Fronte Tank Davis fight coming up
Yep.
later in
Uh,
April.
April 22nd. I hate the fact that Tank Davis put a no rehydration clause for Ryan Garcia. So Ryan Garcia has to cut weight and maintain until fight night. He cannot put weight back on.
He's just taking a page out of Floyd Mayweather's book. Fighting people in the right situations, the right times.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's just I think if Ryan Garcia beats him, it's poetic justice just for that. Uh, that I hate that move doing the no rehydration clause. Shakur Stevenson won last night. 47. And I think Top Rank, Bob Arum, all those guys need to realize like, hey, stop scheduling boxing during MMA. We're not tuning in, bro. We're not tuning in. I'm sorry. PFL, Brendan Lothnan. However you say his name. I hate how it's spelled. Anyway, I like him though. He beat Marlon Moraes.
Yeah, retired that man.
Retired man. He's getting paid over in PFL after Dana refused to give him a contract on a contender series. But I think the problem is a lot of guys go to PFL now thinking their story's going to be like that. But it's like, unless you're in the top 5% of the company, you're not going to make that kind of money, though.
Or he winning the tournaments.
Exactly. And I think Anthony Pettis found that out the hard way when he went to PFL.
The
Other than
return of
that,
Kayla Harrison coming back. Kayla Harris, I mean,
yeah.
coming
Yeah. I
back
mean,
after her defeat.
we'll see what happens with her, man. She's still punching the air after Juliana beat Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, 'cause that would have got her right into the UFC, bro.
That would have, which I mean, it's probably going to happen eventually, anyways. Because I think Amanda does beat Juliana in this third fight, and I think that Kayla Harrison does get into the UFC after that. It's just I don't know, man. I think Kayla Harrison, she's super talented, but I think she's shown her last fight that she's very beatable by a complete mixed martial artist. So, Trishawn Gore and Bo Nickel got announced.
Oh yeah, that's a big fight.
That's a
Like
huge
I
fight.
said, I need to see that Joe Pyfer versus Bo Nickel, bro.
Yes, I need to see. I love Bo Nickel. Uh, I want to see him tested more. I don't think he was really tested in the Jamie Pickett fight. So we'll see. That's gonna be a good fight. A lot of good fights coming up, man. I think this Holloway Allen card in Kansas City as well. Um,
So let's do like a little matchmaking for a couple fighters here. So let's matchmake for Chris Curtis, Gastelum. Let's matchmake for Kevin Holland, Ponzinibbio, and let's matchmake for Font and Giannis because we already know. I mean, we really don't know for Adesanya and Pereira. That's kind of thrown in the air.
so Raul Rosas Jr. I'm gonna need you to go to ISS real quick. Yeah, but staying a high school kid.
I mean, I didn't say him because they're just gonna give him a rando out the top 15, outside the top 15. So
Bro, give him a fight night main event, please. Oh,
no.
sorry. I'm trying to visualize this like Dana would. Um, no, Kelvin Gastelum, Chris Curtis. They will not move down to welterweight because we've been begging for that for years. With Kelvin, he won't, and Chris Curtis is 35, so I don't see that happening. Chris Curtis, Andre Muniz, or Imavov, to be honest.
Yeah, I want
And
to see that Chris Curtis Imavov. That'd be fire. Wait, no, Imavov is already booked.
oh, is he?
Doesn't he have a fight night with somebody?
Let's see. Because he's coming off that loss to Sean Strickland. If I'm
Oh
not.
yeah, no, I might be thinking of somebody else then. Definitely,
Let's
definitely
see.
thinking of some. Who am I thinking of right now?
Imavov doesn't have a. Oh wait, no, Imavov and Kelvin Gastelum already fought. Yes, they already fought.
Yeah,
Um,
who was the fight night I was thinking of? I think it got canceled then. Oh yeah, Imavov was supposed to fight headline, but ended up Sean Strickland ended up filling in last second.
yep, and Sean Strickland beat him. Um, I think. Well, you see, you got Brendan Allen fighting Jack Hermanson. Delete who has nobody to fight because Brunson retired. Or the only other than Imavov, Delete really has nobody to fight. Andre Muniz is still there. I'd say do Chris Curtis versus Muniz or Kelvin Gastelum versus Muniz, to be
Yeah,
honest. And then Delete versus Imavov.
yeah, facts.
Um
What
yeah.
about what'd you say for Kevin Gastelum?
Kelvin Gastelum, give him or Chris Curtis, give him Andre Muniz, do Imavov versus Delete, and then I don't know, bro. Did Chris Curtis probably gonna have to fight a guy outside the top 15? To be
Yeah,
honest.
or he could get I don't know. He might get boosted up and get that's his homie. Fuck,
Yeah, see
all these guys are his homies. So like,
well, that's the problem when you have a gym that's all middleweights.
all right, and then for welterweight for Kevin Holland and Ponzinibbio, I think you could get Kevin Holland at the top 15. So
You have to give him a top 15.
give him the. Oh yeah, he needs that Michael Chiesa fight. Give him that Michael Chiesa fight,
Yeah, which
or the Michelle Pereira.
shout out Michael Chiesa because Kevin Lee offered to fill in. Would have been a rematch, and he said no.
Yeah, I wanted to see Kevin Lee. I want to see Kevin Lee, man.
No, and listen, Kevin Lee is gonna get a fight eventually. It's just I would have liked to see that Michael Chiesa rematch. I think at 170 it would have been perfect for him. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the middleweight roster right now, and there's a lot of randoms on here. I forgot fought. Sam Alvey's still on the. Oh my gosh, dude, what am? It's crazy how big the UFC roster is when you put it on a consideration here.
Who
Oh
do you
my.
give Rob Font? Josh Emmett? That's a
Ooh,
different weight. I'm tripping.
ooh,
I'm tripping.
yeah, I'm about to say, man. I was about to
Give him
say,
Ricky Simone. Song Yudong? No. Give him Song Yudong.
give him Song Yadong because those two are gonna just beat the hell out of each other the entire fight. Sorry, going back to Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, I think Jack Della Maddalena would be a perfect fight.
That'd be it. That'd be tough for Jack though. That's a big test for Jack. I ain't gonna lie.
Exactly. No, 100%.
But hey,
I think
he did it against the other tall guy. What's his name? Fuck, Randy Brown.
hmm do that or give him a leap. Give Kevin Holland Jeff Neal. See that fight. No, for Rob Font, I think okay. So Adrian Yanez, uh, probably I'd say end up fighting Saeed Nurmagomedov or Martinez after this.
I say give him Jonathan Martinez. That's
Yep.
a good fight.
Rob Font, Song Yadong, or they're probably gonna feed him to Umar Nurmagomedov to be if he doesn't get the Marab fight.
Or if you see Chris Gutierrez comes out and gets the win, I think Chris Gutierrez versus Rob Font would be a banger.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's got to beat Pedro Munoz first, so.
question is though, is Dominic Cruz gonna fight again?
I don't know. There's not any good. I mean, if they do that Cody Garbrandt, that's the only matchup I see that's good for him.
Right. Well, he's right there at 7, right below Rob Font. So I mean, I don't.
Has he fought Rampant yet?
No, no.
That'd be a good fight, I think.
Yeah, and I think for Dom, if he does lose, it's a good fight to retire on as well. Um, Middleweight, we already kind of talked about the whole mess going on there. I think Paulo Costa has to be the next one to fight Hamza or Whitaker. Do Whitaker versus Hamza.
Make him earn that. Make him earn. If he beats Hamza, then he earned that. He earns that Izzy shot. So
Yeah, and if Hamza beats Whitaker, a Hamza and Izzy fights. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to see that. Like,
yeah,
you
that's
know,
a bunch of question marks.
welterweight. Welterweight's a mess. So Hamzat's number 3 on here. He's at 185 now. We'll take him out of the picture. Gilbert Burns sitting at number 5. Bilal there, Kamaru there, and Colby who's going to fight Leon. So
I mean, Dana already said in the press conference he's trying to make the Shavkat Balil fight. So I think that's if Dana wants to fight, he makes it happen. So that's
and
that.
it, yeah, and I think for the reason Bilal is running scared from Shavkat is, let's be honest, Shavkat runs through Bilal Muhammad if they fight. We all know that, and it's no disrespect to Bilal Muhammad, but Shavkat Rachmanov's different.
I don't know. I also thought that about Sean Brady though. So
Yeah, I think Sean Brady though he was injured though. Sean Brady came into that fight injured. To the Bilal fight, you could tell that's why he wasn't really throwing. But I don't know, man. Gilbert Burns, him being the backup is good for him, but you got Kamaru and Gilbert both there. If Colby wins against Leon, Kamaru has a legitimate gripe to fight Colby again. Whereas like Leon, he has no leverage if Leon wins, and I think you have to give it to Gilbert. I think Gilbert Burns is kind of just like the odd man out right now.
or if you want to, if you don't want no waiting around, you can just do the Gilbert versus Kamaru fight again.
Yeah, which I think
Make it
Gilbert
like a
would take.
fight night.
Yeah, Gilbert would take that. Kamaru wouldn't. I'm gonna tell you that right now, because I think Kamaru Usman. We saw how injured he was in the Leon fight, where it's like chronic, not one of those like training injuries. Just like his knees are gone. He shoots for takedowns now and just bends over. Whereas, like, I think Gilbert right now is probably the better fighter compared to when they
More
fought.
healthy.
More healthy, 100%. And I
They're
think it
similar,
definitely
so
shows. And so I think if those two fought, I think Gilbert, it's a lot more competitive. I think Gilbert wins. And I think for Kamaru, he has to be very careful because if he does want a final title run, he has to be very careful about who he fights and when he fights him and all that stuff. And so, yeah, we'll see, man. Welterweight. There's a lot. Listen, the UFC, it's exciting right now. Some other things from last night, actually. Dana said that the UFC was trying to get a card in Mexico City. They're messing it up right now, and they got to make it right, which they have to. You have 3 Mexican UFC champions, man. Why is there not a card in Mexico City?
yeah, and then especially if like Cejudo wins too,
Mm-hmm.
just more Hispanic champs.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, 100%. The UFC card last night in Miami had a higher gate than Madison Square Garden, which is nuts.
yeah, I mean Miami is the new. I mean Florida's the GOAT state. I mean
No, Miami really. I think last night it showed. Dana wants some Miami back on the UFC schedule. And I listen, Miami. If you look at it, it's the Vegas of the East Coast. You know, especially for fights. I think it's perfect. I think last night, dude, the fans are awesome all night last night.
big fight culture down here.
Big fight culture, bro. The people, I loved it because the start of the broadcast, the arena was empty, and Joe Rogan and Dana Cormier were like, nobody shows up on time in Miami. As a Cuban, I can say that right now, we don't show up on time. But nah, they showed out last night. The vibes were awesome. The amount of celebrities in there too, man.
Everybody was there. What would you rate this card though
Yeah.
out of 10?
Dude, listen, no submissions on the card, which I didn't mind. I give this a I give this a 9.5. This card will go down as a classic card in
Yeah, I give it
UFC.
a 9. Just because the
Yeah,
co-main was so bad.
yeah. But that main event, and then the knockouts that did happen, like the Giannis getting knocked out, Kevin Holland's knockout, there, and then Izzy's knockout will go down as one of the greatest UFC moments of all time, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Now, Ngannou calling Israel Adesanya the greatest middleweight of all time, bro. Drug test him. Stop. I know it's your boy.
I mean,
Stop right.
it's definitely a conversation.
Listen, Izzy's the second greatest middleweight of all time. There's no argument on that.
I mean, it's definitely a conversation for him to be the best.
Okay, when he has a 6-year title reign like Anderson Silva did, then call me.
I mean, when he
Um,
fought like 10 fights since 2018.
yeah, but yeah, I guess. I don't know,
Or
man.
10 title fights since 2018 or something like that.
Anderson Silva head kicking Vitor Belfort and sending him to go meet God. Moments like that. Bro, Anderson Silva. There's just I can't make that argument,
If he
especially
just had
like
one of those moments last night.
yeah, we'll see,
Fight
man.
higher level guys.
I don't know about higher level. I don't
Definitely
know.
higher level. What?
I don't know about higher level.
This
I don't
athlete
know.
in general are higher level.
Anderson Silva fought some absolute demons in his time at middleweight
I mean,
champion.
Izzy has too, but he just made them not look like demons. Like Polo
No,
Costa, people thought Polo Costa was a demon until he fought Izzy.
yeah, and that's the thing. Izzy and Anderson are very, very similar. I think it how Izzy's second title reign goes. I think he definitely could be the greatest middleweight of all time, depending on how this reign
Yeah,
goes.
if he gets like wins, I mean, he got this Pereira win. If he gets another Pereira win, fights like Chimaev or something, it's just
Listen, man. John Jones lost his belt. Daniel Cormier lost his belt. GSP lost his belt, and these guys came back and had even more dominant title runs the second time. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see, man. This is exciting times, man.
that's gonna do it for Glove Talk episode 9. Peep us on Instagram at the Glove Talk Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe, comment down who you think Izzy should fight next and who Pereira should fight next, and that's gonna do it.
Yeah, don't forget to tune in Arnold Allen Holloway this weekend. And also, that one ref with the little stupid beard tied up that ref every single fight last night. Drug test, bro. Drug test the judges. I don't understand, bro. I don't understand. But hey, it's a fight game. We love it. And we love y'all. Thank you.